Welcome back to Gamer-0. I'm your host T Heel. So tonight is about Star Wars The Force Unleased 2 review. Before I get into that, just want to give some quick shout outs to a couple subscribers and people on my friends list for kicking me some wisdom and some knowledge that I should have known, but you know, no excuses. There is no excuse. So first thing would be to Boomy78 and Poker 360X. Thank you for pointing out that I should really remind myself when I'm at the store how nice the GameStop employee is, that they really need to do their stuff first before they try to pass stuff on to other individuals. And that, what I'm talking about is the GT5 release date, which I was told that is on the 1st, and was pointed out to me by Poker 360X, which is a Saturday. Don't think the game's coming out, a high profile game like that will be coming out on a Saturday. Thanks to Boomy78, it was pointed out that through one of his relatives who had been telling him, is that, you know, as a manager at a GameStop, that it's actually, they've known for a while in their system that that's wrong, and that individual who's the manager has been telling her employees to stop telling customers that it's January 1st. So there's still a chance that it's going to be back of November, early December, or even late December. Hopefully sooner is better than later. I'm looking forward to it. I know a lot of other PlayStation 3 owners are really pumped about it. So yeah, there's that going on. And oh, VG charts. I know a lot of people say, oh, VG charts are good, you know, and then a lot of people dog them. I personally, I use them as a loose estimate with a good half a million of whatever number they're giving me. It could either be plus or minus. You got to give yourself a half a million, like even a million spread on whatever number's there, because they don't do real. They can say whatever they want, but I've called them on it and then thrown NPD numbers at them, and eventually they got to the point where they stopped answering my emails because I kept calling them out on their adjustments, their secret adjustments that they don't send out emails and say, well, we found out something was wrong in our numbers, so we made some tweaks. So what I want to say before, this will be quick, and then we'll hop right into the Star Wars Force Unleased 2 review, is they came out and said that, you know, it's actually more like 1.5 million PlayStation Move units sold. And the reason why they're counting that is because they're not counting individual Move controllers. They said that's not fair to consider that. Bullshit. Real talk. So you're telling me that no one owned a PlayStation Eye and all they needed to do was buy a PlayStation Move? That no PlayStation 3 owner had a PlayStation Eye? Wow, because hardware numbers would say you're wrong. I could go back. I haven't had the time. I just got home, so I'm cranking out this video. But I could look at the numbers and prove that PlayStation has sold tons of those. Huge numbers, but they have sold tons of those PlayStation Eyes. So you're not going to include 1 million units that Sony's pushing because you say Michael Pachter is supporting it? Wow, and nothing against Michael, nothing. But even he went back and said, wow, it's actually better numbers than what he predicted. They completely ignore, VG Charts completely ignores that. They say sell-through number and versus a ship number to the retailer. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that could be. They shipped 2.5 million PlayStation Moves. Either bundles, individual units, however you want to break down the statistics. 2.5 million of those controllers went out. They clearly, and you can see this, sold out. You see it on the internet all the time. Walmart, Target, Best Buy. Now this is not going to be every single store, but they are sold out. My GameStop is just now starting to get onesie twosies back in that can barely stay in the store. So another part of it I want to kick is that Sony said that because of demand, and this is the retailers telling Sony, we need more. They've had to double their production twice. 2 times they've had to increase their production demands. Which is tells anyone with common sense says, well, if they weren't selling at the stores, then they wouldn't have to, you know, up their production, man, because now they're working their employees more. they're spending more money to ship them to a store that's not going to get them off the shelves. You'd have to be slow not to figure that out. That's bullshit. So VG charts, check your shit out, because anyone knows that not everyone needed to pick up a whole new bundle. A lot of people needed to do was just pick up an actual PlayStation Move. All right, so get your shit straight. All right, so hop into what makes me really excited: Star Wars: The Force Unleased 2. Great game. Really just like took you on a roller coaster ride, but it had a part where I almost like dropped the end when people said Enslaved just ends. The Force Unleashed 2 just ends. And at first I was like, oh no, I did not just pay $65 for that short of a title. Because I'm thinking, please God, let there be more to this. Because the ride getting up to the end is exciting as hell. It is fun, it is worth it. There are some issues, and we'll just kick it off where we'll say that graphics, when they're spot on, they are spot on. It looks brilliant, breathtaking, unbelievable. Then there are spots where you can tell the developer, particularly later in the game when you're going back to Camino, where you can tell that they completely gimped on textures. Where it just like, I mean, there's parts where the textures are so brilliant, it is like hard to believe that you're actually playing a game. That this is not like some cinematic movie. Then there are other parts where you're like, is this PlayStation 1? And I'm not joking. I mean, there are some scenes where the camera tries to back off enough because you can tell. Hold on, let me get the box so that way I don't want to misquote the developer. Was it LucasArts? I hope that's LucasArts. Who was the developer? But they there's a whole section. I mean, that you're just like, does it take away from the experience of the game? No, but it is something that you keep in the back of your head, like, you missed something here. But there's that graphically, and the only other graphical issue that I noticed at all was that from time to time it seemed like Starkiller's clone was kind of like not really touching the ground. He was like floating. I mean, his feet would still move, his legs would move, but you notice there's like a good half a foot from him to the ground. Other than that, spectacular game. There are some mind-blowing scenes. The fall scenes, I just love those. The fact where like shit's flying at you and you're using your force powers to break stuff up. It just looks like you would think that would have been like a cinematic, and it really delivered on those hot spots. Just did a good job. Other parts where you're controlling, you're in a ship or whatever, and there's debris in the way, and you're sitting there moving it out of the way. It looks amazing. Just that atmosphere that they captured in every single one of the environments, and there are a variety of them, but you do spend a lot of time in Camino, the first time and on your second time back. That being said, the game's graphics are good. Some of the character models you can tell weren't pushed as much as others. The primary character models seem to have a lot more depth and detail in them. The animations are really fluid, really smooth, just look really nice. Crisp, like sharp. I never felt any problems like, geez, why can't I do this? With the exception of the platforming, which from sometimes the geometry, like hit detection, like you pushing up against a surface, felt like there was like a bubble in between you in it, or there was invisible walls that seemed like there was a bubble. That was like a kind of a downer, because like there were some few, not a whole lot, but there were some spots where like the lip of a wall or of a platform would just be stick out enough, but it felt like I had to jump all the way around to get over it. So that being said, there was some mechanical issues, but nothing that was like really detracted from the game. Story, story wasn't like really fleshed out as much as I thought it was going to be, but what's there does connect you from scene to scene. There's a split ending. I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but there's a split ending that feels like, I can go this way, I can go light side, I can go dark side, so you can get some more replay out of it through the multiple endings. The music was, it felt like Star Wars. It was Star Wars all the way through. that was really nice. I just like some of the classic music that was in there, the atmosphere music that was like orchestral and felt like, you know, you're in these worlds, in the Star Wars universe, which is really, really nice. Another thing was I'm big on replay value of a game. It has to have a lot of replay. One way or another, they've got a developer's got to push replay value. So when I was playing it, I did notice that when it ended, I was like, please tell me there's something more. Cool feature, you beat the game, you can play it on the harder settings, and you can keep all of your upgrades, all your costumes, all of your lightsaber upgrades, because you can get 2 different color lightsabers. You can do like, I mean, I got a black with one with a white outline. That was tight. And you can mismatch them. You can have like one blue and one green, one black, one white, or you can have them both the same color. That's super cool. So the fact that you can go back through on a harder difficulty and play it and, you know, get more experience. Say if you didn't get all your upgrades, now you can play with all those same powers, so you're not starting fresh. So I've always thought that was a great way to encourage playing on a harder difficulty, because a lot of times it's hard for people to get into a really hard difficulty starting from scratch. So I commend LucasArts for doing that. That's a great implementation and increases playthrough and pushes people's skills. Now that they got more powers, they can go back through and play it on a hard difficulty. So how would I rate this game? The overall experience while I was going through there, I didn't ever feel like I was mashing, because I was using every feature that the game gave me in every possible way, because there's so much variety in the combat setup, and with even how you maneuver when you pull stuff down, using your force grip in different ways. It's really fun. There's a lot of interesting things. That being said, there are a few graphical issues that don't detract from the game, like the overall experience, but they're noticeable where you're like, facelift, and then a few mechanical issues which are like, not like, oh my god, I want to punch my game, but they are like, that's weird, why is it doing that? So there are those moments. Overall, were those hurtful to the game? No. The game could have been longer to give you more actual content, but I think what they're going to do with this title, if part 1 was any kind of indication, is they're going to expand it through DLC. DLC missions, DLC characters, DLC skins, DLC weapons. That's how they're going to get their money, their extra money. You know how I feel about that? I'm good as long as I'm getting my content's worth. As long as they're giving me real value for DLC, I'm all for expanding a game. All in all, great game. I'd have to give it a 4 out of 5. It does have a few things. It's a little short. There are some graphical issues that aren't big, mechanical issues that aren't big, but it feels like there were really high points, and then it starts to lull out towards the end. It's like the developer lost steam towards the end. All in all, I still say day one buy it if you haven't bought this. If you like hack and slash platform games, if you're a Star Wars fan, if you like just epic experiences, boss fights that are really awesome, these jump scenes and these control scenes that you would think are in a movie or cinematic are just mind-blowing. The texture effects. There are some hot spots about this game. So I would still say this is a 4 out of 5. Hope you guys enjoy. You know, you can always follow me on hiphopgamershow.com. You can follow me on Twitter. It's T_Hill0, or you can send me your friend request and play with me on PSN. Well, that's what I've got for tonight. I've got tons of games to do demo impressions of. Need for Speed, Fist of the North Star, which my buddy NightGen, you already know how I feel about it. You've told me it's pretty much what I thought was true. So that, and then there's just tons of other ones I got to get through. Dragon Ball, and then if I like these games, I'll go out and buy them, give you guys my reviews, and tell you what's hot, what's not, which is a rent. You know me, I'm a gamer first, not a journalist. So I hope you enjoyed my episode. That's all I got for Gamer-0. I'm T Heel. I'm out. Peace.